CNN investigation has uncovered a pattern of alleged inappropriate behavior by legendary actor Morgan Freeman, both on set and at his production company. Revelations Entertainment, that's what his production company is called. Joining me now, CNN's Chloe Malas and Ann Fung. They broke the story. Chloe, tell me what you guys learned.
Good morning, Carol. So after a months-long investigation, 16 people agreed to share their stories with CNN. Several of them said that Freeman made constant comments about their bodies and clothing choices. 8 said that they were victims of harassment or inappropriate behavior. 2 of those 8 said that they were actually subjected to unwanted touching by Freeman. Now, something very telling is that only 2 of the people, Carol, that Ann and I spoke with were willing to use their names for fear of retribution and speaking out against someone as powerful as Morgan Freeman. Now, I want to share some of those stories that we were told, starting with one woman who was a production assistant on the movie Going in Style. She said that while filming in 2015, Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching of her lower back and comments about her figure on a near daily basis. In one incident, she says that Freeman kept trying to lift her skirt and asking if she was wearing underwear. She says that this incident took place allegedly in front of his co-star Alan Arkin, who told him to stop. He could not be reached for comment. CNN has also reached out to Morgan Freeman for comment multiple times, but we have not heard back.
And you guys have learned this was not just on movie sets. It was supposedly happening at Freeman's production company too, right?
That's right, Carol. That's what's so alarming about what's been alleged in our report. Much of it was happening out in the open, on movie sets, in front of actors and crew members. Some of it was even happening when the cameras were rolling. 3 individuals who attended a birthday party thrown for Morgan Freeman at his production company claimed that staffers were asked to stand in a circle, and Freeman allegedly walked up to the women, looked them up and down, stood within an inch of their face, and then moved on to the next woman. A source who was there said there was, quote, definitely sexual undertones to the incident. Another source claims he witnessed Freeman massage the shoulder of a young intern who appeared visibly uncomfortable by the touching. Another female employee said that he walked up to her on set and asked her, quote, "How do you feel about sexual harassment?" When she got flustered by the question, Freeman then turned to other people on the set and said, "See, guys, this is how you do it." This source told us she was stunned by how he was speaking to her.
So, and it gets worse because Chloe, not only are, I guess, entertainment reporters are accusing Freeman too.
Yes, so Carol, one of the women that we spoke to was a woman named Tyra Martin. She's a producer at WGN in Chicago. She says that over the course of a decade, she's interviewed Freeman multiple times and that he always made sexually charged comments. But there was one time that she felt truly crossed a line. That was when he asked her not to pull down her skirt as she stood up to leave the interview. Now, it's unclear if that incident was ever caught on tape, but we do, Carol, have an example of some of his behavior with her from another interview. Now, there is music underneath this clip. Don't pay attention to that. It was not added to by CNN, but here it is.
Hi, how are you?
I'm better now.
Thanks. I don't have any magic tricks. I kind of feel like I showed up for dinner without anything.
I wouldn't worry about that. You got magic written all over you, child.
Oh, thank you. That's good medicine for a single girl.
Ooh, I'm single too.
Are you?
Yes.
Or are you enjoying bachelor life?
I'm enjoying bachelor life immensely. Because I get to look at you and drool. Don't have to respond to it. Right?
Indeed.
Carol, the impetus for this investigation was actually my own experience with Morgan Freeman at a junket last year for the movie Going in Style. Right when I walked into the room, he began making sexually suggestive comments to me. Now, as an entertainment reporter for over a decade, it was unlike anything I truly have ever experienced. One of those comments was caught on tape. In this comment that's on tape, he says to me, "Boy, do I wish I was there," while looking me up and down. I was was 6 months pregnant at the time, and his co-stars Alan Arkin and Michael Caine were seated on either side of him and actually looked at him when he made this comment to me. Again, it was caught on tape, and take a note of Freeman's eyes in this clip.
One time I congratulated a woman on being pregnant and she wasn't. And so I've never done it again. For 50 years, I've never done it.
You've learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson.
Boy, do I wish I was there.
This movie is...
As you see, that was quick right there, but there were other comments made to me by Freeman before and after this one, but they were not caught on tape. We reached out to Alan Arkin and Michael Caine, his co-stars who were seated next to him, and they could not, well, Alan Arkin could not be reached for comment, and Michael Caine declined to comment.
Hey guys, it's Nicole here, back on this Thursday afternoon. I hope you guys are all doing good out there, and welcome back to Nicole's View. Now, with all this that's going on, you guys know I've been engulfed in this Bill Cosby thing, this farce that's been going on against him for the longest. And as we've been saying for the longest, this is going to continue. It's not going to stop with Bill Cosby. It's not going to stop. They're going to go after, systematically, they are going to go after any famous man, especially any famous black man. You will be the first on the chopping block. So in today's nigga of the month, as our boy Harvey says, Morgan Freeman is being accused of sexual harassment, inappropriate touching, making folks feel uncomfortable. This is what we've come to now. And the funny thing is, I'm on CNN and their ticker at the top says, Trump pardons boxer Jack Johnson. Watch CNN. What are the damn odds that President Trump pardons boxer Jack Johnson today, and we have this coming out? Coincidence? I don't think so. This is done on purpose. And I don't know what it's going to take for some of y'all to get that through your thick skulls. This is why we've been going so hard in the paint for Cosby. No matter what you may think about him personally, it's not about that. And what he said 10, 20, 30 years ago, it's not about that. They are going after you. This is war. It's war. One by one by one by one. And here's the thing, okay? He's only being accused of touching, harassment, nothing major. But as you saw in that CNN clip, most folks are going to be like, okay, so he talks about folks or talks about women and, flirts with them. Okay, yeah, he may be somewhat of a jerk, but does that mean that he committed a crime? And when folks don't start biting on this, time will tell if they ramp this up. If suddenly another woman comes out of the woods screaming, oh, he raped me, he sexually assaulted me. Oh, it's done. Because what they're doing now, they're building it up. They're building it up. Just like they did with Cosby. They're slowly building it up. They're using buzzwords like powerful and pattern. This is the same thing they did with Bill Cosby. It will be a miracle if Morgan Freeman walks away from this unscathed. Because the way they're building this up in the clips they just showed on CNN and of the black reporter at Chicago with WGN, they're ready. They're already shaping this. You guys had better see what the hell is going on. It's no game. I'm going to read to you this article. All right? And it says, women accuse Morgan Freeman of inappropriate behavior, harassment. A young production assistant thought she had landed the job of her dreams when in the summer of 2015 she started work on Going in Style, a bank heist comedy starring Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin. But the job quickly devolved into several months of harassment, she told CNN. She alleges that Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Freeman would rest his hand on her lower back or rub her lower back, she said. In one incident, she said, Freeman kept trying to lift up her skirt and asking if I was wearing underwear. He never successfully lifted her skirt, she said. He would touch it and try to lift it. She would move away and then he'd try again. Eventually, she said, Alan Arkin made a comment telling him to stop. Morgan got freaked out and didn't know what to say. Freeman's alleged inappropriate behavior was not limited to that one movie set. According to other sources who spoke to CNN, a woman who was a senior member of the production staff of the movie Now You See Me in 2012 told CNN that Freeman sexually harassed her and her female assistant on numerous occasions by making comments about their bodies. He did comment on our bodies. We knew that if he was coming by, not to wear any top that would show our breasts, not to wear anything that would show our bottoms, meaning not wearing clothing that were fitted, she said. At 80 years old, who else is 80 years old? Cosby. Freeman is one of Hollywood's biggest stars, with a movie career that spans nearly 5 decades. His starring roles in movies like Driving Miss Daisy and Shanghai Redemption in the late 1980s and early 1990s made him a household name. Excuse me. He won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for 2004's $1 Million Baby and has earned 4 other Oscar nominations. His voiceover work has also become iconic, including his narration for the Academy Award-winning documentaries The Long Way Home and The March of the Penguins. Oh boy. In all, 16 people spoke to CNN. Who are these 16 people? 16 random people spoke to CNN about Freeman as part of this investigation. You guys see what they're doing. They're padding the numbers. Remember with Cosby, it was 1, 2, then suddenly it was 20, and then it was 50. Okay. Excuse me, guys. I'm passionate about this. In all, 16 people spoke to CNN about Freeman as part of this investigation, 8 of whom said they were victims. Victims, not alleged victims, but victims of what some call harassment and others called inappropriate behavior by Freeman. 8 said they witnessed Freeman's alleged conduct. These 16 people together described a pattern of inappropriate behavior by Freeman on set while promoting his movies and at his production company, Revelations Entertainment. Of those 16, 7 people described an environment at Revelations Entertainment that included allegations of harassment or inappropriate behavior by Freeman. There was one incident allegedly witnessed by Lori McCurry, Freeman's co-founder in the enterprise, and another in which she was the target of demeaning comments by Freeman in a public setting. One of those 7 people alleged that McCreary made a discriminatory remark regarding a female candidate for a job at the Producers Guild of America, where McCreary is co-president. 4 people who worked in production capacities on sets with Freeman over the last 10 years described him as repeatedly behaving in ways that made women feel uncomfortable at work. 2, including the production assistant on Going in Style, whose skirt he allegedly attempted to lift, said Freeman subjected them to unwanted touching. 3 said he made public comments about women's clothing or bodies, but each of them said they didn't report Freeman's behavior, with most saying it was because they feared for their jobs. Instead, some of the women, both on movie sets and at Revelation, said they came up with ways to combat the alleged harassment on their own, such as by changing the way they dressed when they knew he would be around. CNN reached out to dozens more people who worked for or with Freeman. Some praised Freeman, saying they never witnessed any questionable behavior or that he was the consummate professional on set and in the office. Several other times during this investigation, when a CNN reporter contacted a person who had worked with Freeman to try to ask them if they had seen or been subjected to inappropriate behavior by an actor they had worked with, not initially even naming the actor they were asking about, the person would immediately tell them that they knew exactly who the reporter had in mind. Morgan Freeman. Isn't that amazing? Some of those people were sources for this investigation, while others declined to comment further or did not want what they said used in this story. The pattern of behavior, there goes that word, the pattern of behavior described by those who spoke with CNN shows another example of the systematic problems that exist in the entertainment industry. The allegations against Freeman are not about things that happened in private. They are about things that allegedly happened in public, in front of witnesses, even in front of cameras. Before Me Too, many men in the industry could behave without fear of consequences, because many times when a powerful man, buzzword, did this, it was the victim who suffered the repercussions. They are calling these folks victims. Victims. This is what I'm talking about. CNN reached out to Freeman's spokesperson for comment, and then at his request emailed him a detailed list of the accusations against Freeman. This spokesperson did not respond to multiple follow-ups by email seeking comment on the accusations. CNN also reached out to a spokesperson for Mercury and then provided her with a detailed list of accusations regarding Freeman's alleged behavior at Revelations and details of the accusation against her, as well as a number of questions for her regarding Freeman's alleged behavior at Revelations and the environment there. The spokesperson did not respond to multiple follow-ups by email seeking comment. The allegations of inappropriate behavior by Freeman are not limited to the confines of his company or to movie sets. 3 entertainment reporters who spoke to CNN said Freeman made inappropriate remarks to them during press junkets, which are publicity events for journalists who cover new films, typically attended by the movie's biggest stars. One of 3, CNN reporter Chloe Mollis, the co-author of this article, says she was subjected to inappropriate behavior by Freeman more than a year ago when she interviewed him at a press junket for Going in Style. According to Mollis, who was 6 months pregnant. You guys saw that in the beginning of the video. It's just basically repeating what they said in the video, including the co-stars, Arkin, blah, blah, blah. After Mollis reported what had happened to her supervisor, who instructed her to inform CNN Human Resources. According to Mollis, she was told that CNN HR contacted their counterparts at Human Resources for Warner Brothers, which produced and distributed the movie, and which, like CNN, is owned by Time Warner. Mollis said she also told that Warner Brothers HR could not corroborate the account because only one of Freeman's remarks was on video, and the Warner Brothers employees present, did not notice anything. Okay. All right, guys. So it just basically goes on. It's talking about his company, Revelations. Freeman and Lord McCreary founded Revelations Entertainment in 1996. Variety reported last year that Freeman started the company with McCreary because he was frustrated by the lack of choice roles for black actors and because he wanted to reveal the truth about serious issues. A mission that inspired the name Revelations. The company credits include a list of ambitious films about religion, apartheid, astronomy, and stem cell research. Revelations also produced the film Along Came a Spider and the hit CBS show Madam Secretary, both of which feature strong female leads. The irony. But former staffers who spoke with CNN say that behind the facade of a progressive and artistic agenda, the company's 2 founders created what one called a toxic work environment. 6 former staffers said they witnessed Freeman's questionable behavior around women, which they said included sexual comments, and one said included an incident of unsolicited touching. One female former staffer says she was a target of sexual Comments by Freeman. The female former employee at Revelations told CNN that Freeman was flanked by a group of men on the set of Through the Wormhole. When she met the actor for the first time, he looked me up and down and said, and then asked, let me reread that, guys. He looked me up and down, she said, and then asked her, how do you feel about sexual harassment? What they said in the clip earlier. I was stunned, she told CNN. This is the person that I work for. This is his company. I didn't expect it at all, I said timidly. I love it in a sarcastic way, hoping to make light of the situation because I was so confused. And then he turned to the guys on the crew and said, see, you guys, this is how you do it. One woman who was a manager at Revelations told CNN that sometimes Freeman would come over to my desk to say hi and he'd just stand there and stare at me. He would stare at my breasts. If I ever passed him, he would stare at me in an awkward way, would look me up and down, and sometimes stopping and just staring, she said. One time he stopped, looked me up and down as I walked into a room of people, and everyone burst out laughing. And I literally froze, feeling very uncomfortable. And one of the people in the office said, don't worry, that's just Morgan. That sort of interaction was when I stopped wearing a skirt around the office when he was there, said the former manager. I can't say it was an accident that I'd be wearing a potato sack and a ponytail on certain days when he was there, and do my best to avoid him when he was in the office. Freeman was not in the office on a daily basis, the former employee said, but he did show up and he behaved like a creepy uncle, in the words of a male former employee. One time I witnessed Morgan walk up to an intern and start massaging her shoulder. He said the intern got visibly red and wiggled out of his grasp. It was awkward. The incident stood out to him because Freeman was using only one hand to touch the intern, as his other was injured in a 2008 car accident that was widely covered by the press. Another former employee told CNN she was present when the male former employee told several people about the incident shortly after it occurred. CNN spoke to two male witnesses. Sorry, guys, this is a long-ass article. CNN spoke to two male witnesses who each saw a separate occasion in which Freeman asked women to twirl. On one instance occurred at the office, while another happened at an off-site company event. Another incident stood out to people who spoke with CNN, who witnessed it. Two former staffers who were there and a writer for the show, Madam Secretary, who also attended, each described the scene to CNN. For his 79th birthday, Revelations threw Freeman a party in the office. According to the sources, roughly 30 people attended the party, some of whom who were new to the company and had never met the actor. McCreary was among those in attendance, the sources said. People at the party had to stand in a circle. A former executive at the company who attended the party told CNN and tell Freeman who they were and what they did. Then the former executive said Freeman went up to women in the circle and would stand maybe within an inch of their face and just look them up and down and not say anything, and then would move on to the next woman and he'd stand like within an inch of their face and look them up and down and not say anything, and it was really, really strange. The former executive added, it was really weird, and he did it to every woman, but of course he didn't do it to any of the men. He didn't speak to any of the men. The writer, now for those folks who say he's gay, that's what they're alleging, so he didn't speak to the men. The writer for Madam Secretary, who was at the party, said he saw Morgan go around to the girls in the circle and get really close to their faces. He didn't do it to the men. I don't know what he said, but we all thought it was strange and couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. Absolutely, there were sexual undertones to it. After the Me Too movement began, the same writer said writers on the show joked with that incident in mind that Morgan would be the next person to be called out. McCreary herself has also been the subject of demeaning comments by Freeman in front of what reportedly was an audience of 400 people at 2016's Produced by Conference. Freeman described what she was wearing during the first meeting, saying she had on a dress cut to here. She wants to be thought of as serious, said Freeman of McCreary, who was on the same panel, but you can't get away from the short dresses. Freeman stood by his comments when he appeared a few days later on the Today Show, and host Savannah Guthrie said people were surprised by the remarks he made on the panel. It was just something I said in jest about when I first met her. It was more than 20 years ago, he said to Guthrie. How is that news? How is this news? The Hollywood Reporter reported at the time that McCreary did not visibly react to the comment. One of the former Revelations executives told CNN that McCreary was visibly upset when she returned to the office. I tried to console her, and she was clearly upset, and I think she was surprised and found it hurtful and embarrassing. Said the former executive, she was devastated. 5 sources told CNN that there was no formal human resources department at Revelations at the time. There was a rotation of executives who served as the point of contact for HR issues, but former staffers said they did not feel comfortable talking to senior personnel about their workplace grievances. This promoted some staffers to form a survivors club. Oh my God. I'm actually glad I'm reading this now, because look at what they're doing here. Survivors club? Wow. Where they gathered to vent about their experiences at Revelations, according to 5 sources who have been to the gatherings, which take place outside of the office. Publicly, McCreary champions the Me Too movement again and Time's Up movement 2 days before January's Screen Actors Guild Awards, at which Freeman accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award. McCreary released a statement on behalf of the Producers Guild of America to say that its board ratified new anti-sexual harassment guidelines for its members. The PGA is indebted to Time's Up as a resource in creating our protocols, she said in a press release issued with her co-president Gary Lucchesi, referring to the initiative aimed at fighting harassment and discrimination against women. Yet the former Revelations employee who said Freeman asked her how she felt about sexual harassment also alleged that on a phone call with a member of PGA, McCreary said of a candidate vying for a position at PGA East, she'll never be able to do a good job. She has a family. 2 former senior level Revelations employees said McCreary would openly mock women who had to leave work early for family commitments and school functions. McCreary also said that some employees couldn't handle big workloads because they had to run home to families and therefore couldn't stay late at work, according to one of the sources. She openly advocated for work-life balance, that source said, but she would make snide remarks to those who left work early. A spokesperson for the PGA said in a statement, the Producers Guild of America is an equal opportunity employer that does not question or consider oh, guys, excuse me. I am like, this article is just so long. Marital or parental status in its hiring practices. As soon as CNN notified us about the allegation, we investigated the matter and have found that it has no merit. Lori McCreary is an outstanding PGA president. In all of her work with the Guild, she has been consistent, vocal, and proactive advocate for women and all who are underrepresented in our community. A spokesperson for McCreary did not respond to repeated follow-up requests for comment regarding the allegations. All right, guys. I'm trying to see what else. It feels like they're just saying the same things over and over on the set. I mean, this article goes on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, I'll leave the link in the description because that's like enough. Like, my mouth is getting literally tired. But it looks like they're coming for Morgan. Morgan. Even in that clip with him flirting with women, and I'm sure we know he's not the only one who's talked, flirtatious with women. This is nothing new. But the fact that they are making this a survivors club, victims, not saying alleged victims, this is highly suspect. And like I said before, if this doesn't turn into anything and they say, well, okay, he's just creepy and he just spoke to women any old kind of way. Okay, is that illegal? No, it's not. No, it's not. But the fact that they are systematically going after black male celebrities, they are feeling the victory of taking down Bill Cosby, folks. This is not going to stop. Morgan would be very lucky if this doesn't go any further. Morgan, I believe in the past, has made remarks about racism along the lines of not existing or something like that. You guys can say his correct quote in the comment section. But Morgan, know this. You are an 80-year-old black man in Hollywood. At one point, you had to realize that they were coming for you. At one point, you had to see what they were doing to Bill Cosby. They are coming for you guys. They don't give a damn how old you are, blind, crippled, and can't even walk. When they're ready to come for you, they are coming. Now, I'm going to see how this progresses. I'm going to see if it keeps going and builds up and build-ups and until to the point to where it looks like Morgan is just basically going to be crucified, or if they're just going to let it slide. It'll be hot for a minute and then nothing else will come of it. Let's see how this pans out. Because, baby, it is sounding like another Bill Cosby in the making. That's all I have to say. This article is so damn long. I wanted to read the whole thing, but now I'm like, I got to go in. Like, I need to go into the house and do a few things. It's just that long. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video.